The old hero returns, breaking free from the chains of interest. Welcome, dear listeners, to a special episode dedicated to every hardworking individual, every dreamer caught in the web of debt, and every soul seeking financial freedom through faith. My name is Zayd Haji. I am an author, research student, and the founder of IFR and IGC. My mission is to revive ethical finance through Islamic principles and to build a better, fairer world. Today, I invite you to a story not just about money but about meaning, not just about debt but about dignity. Let me take you on a journey of one man but truly of millions. In a quiet neighborhood, far from the noise of headlines and the buzz of banks, lived a man named Ali. He wasn't a tycoon, he wasn't a celebrity. He was just us, middle class, honest, hardworking. A small business owner, a father, a husband, a man who woke before the sun, hoping each day to inch closer to the dreams he carried, a better home, a secure future for his children, and peace of mind. Like many, Ali took loans, a loan for a modest house, another to expand his business, a third to send his eldest child to college. The banks, of course, welcomed him with open arms. Slick brochures, warm smile, easy terms. Prosperity is promised. Paperwork was swift, but then reality hit. One evening after another long day, Ali sat at his desk, bills and bank statements scattered like puzzle pieces. His stomach turned, the numbers didn't make sense. He had been paying diligently month after month, but the debt didn't shrink, it grew. It multiplied like a beast that feeds off your very effort. Interest, that's where it all went. His money wasn't going to reduce his debt, it was feeding the machine, and the machine wanted more. The harder Ali worked, the tighter the chains became. Ali's story isn't rare. It's the silent story of billions. It's the modern struggle not just of survival but of economic servitude. We are promised freedom but handed invisible shackles. We are told debt is progress but it turns into a lifelong prison. The interest-based economy thrives on this very illusion. It quietly extracts wealth from those who have none and multiplies the riches of those who already have plenty. For the rich, interest is a gift. For the middle class and poor, it is a punishment. Ali began asking the questions many are afraid to ask. Why is it that despite hard work, people stay poor? Why do some thrive without effort while others drown in dues despite sacrifice? One quiet night, under the glow of a flickering bulb, Ali opened an old book left behind by his father, the Quran. As he turned its weathered pages, his eyes locked onto a verse that hit him with the weight of thunder. Those who devour interest will not stand except as one stands who is being beaten by Satan into insanity. That is because they say trade is like interest. But Allah has permitted trade and has forbidden interest. Surah Al-Baqarah chapter 2 verse 275. Ali froze. It was as if this verse was written for him. His burden, his confusion, his reality. The Quran didn't just speak of interest. It condemned it not mildly but fiercely. It equated riba or interest with societal decay and spiritual madness, and in that moment felt hope. If interest was injustice, then surely Islam offered justice. If riba was a trap, then surely Islam provided a way out. That night, Ali's journey truly began. He began learning, studying, asking questions. He discovered Islamic finance, a system not built on exploitation but equity, not on manipulation but morality, a system designed by divine wisdom over 1400 years ago, still relevant, still revolutionary. He learned that in Islamic finance, interest riba is forbidden. Risk is shared between parties. Transactions must be transparent. Investments must be ethical. Speculation, gara, and gambling maze are not allowed. This wasn't just finance, it was freedom with faith. Ali learned about Mudaraba partnerships, where investors and entrepreneurs share both profit and risk. He explored Murabaha, where financing is based on real assets and agreed margins, not interest. He read about Sokok, Islamic bonds backed by tangible assets, not mere paper promises. What struck him most was this: Islamic finance is not just for Muslims. It is a universal system, a system for anyone of any faith who seeks fairness, dignity, and sustainability in finance. With time, Ali transformed his business into an ethical model. He built partnerships on mutual trust, not exploitation. He reinvested profits into community welfare. He slept better, worked freer, dreamed bigger. Today, Ali is not just debt free, he is truly free. And this brings me to you, dear listener. Maybe you are Ali, maybe you know someone like him. Maybe you are tired of being told that debt is your only option, that you must compromise your faith to survive, that interest is a necessary evil. I say no more. This series, Zayd's Rules, Ethical Finance, the Halal Economy, is for every Ali out there, every soul longing to breathe free, every family hoping to rise without selling their soul. It is a guide, a call, a movement to remember the old hero, Islamic finance, and to reclaim its promise. As you read this series or listen to this podcast, I ask you not just to absorb the knowledge, live it, share it, act on it, because this is not just about banking. It is about belief. It is about building an economy where wealth serves worship, finance wrecks faith, and success returns to sujud. Welcome to the halal economy. The old hero has returned. With hope, courage, and determination, Zayd Iqbal Haji, author of podcast series Zayd's Rules, Ethical Finance, the Halal Economy, Islamic Finance for a Global Audience. Visit our website zaiji.com and zalhaji.com, The Invisible Debt Trap, A Journey Through Two Volumes by Zayd Iqbal Haji, author of podcast series Zayd's Rules, Ethical Finance, a Halal Economy. Visit our website zaid.com and zalhaji.com, a wake-up call for the modern age, the hidden reality behind our money. Imagine living your whole life working hard, saving what you can, and dreaming of a better future, only to realize that the very system you trusted was quietly working against you. Imagine discovering that the more loans you take, the deeper you sink, even as you make every monthly payment on time. This is not fiction. This is the hidden truth behind how our financial world operates today. And this truth is what The Invisible Debt Trap, a groundbreaking two-volume work by Zayd Iqbal Haji, fearlessly uncovers. In these two powerful volumes, Zayd does what very few economists, bankers, or philosophers are willing to do. He exposes the system, not just from a technical perspective, but from a human, ethical, and spiritual one. He strips away the shiny packaging of modern finance and reveals what lies beneath, an architecture of economic oppression that millions, even billions, are caught in. Whether you're a small business owner, a salaried employee, a student with a loan, or a parent saving for your child's future, these books speak directly to you. The message is simple yet staggering. The financial system that surrounds us, based on interest, speculation, and artificial credit, is not designed to help us succeed. It is designed to keep us dependent. It rewards those who already have and punishes those who do not. It promises financial freedom, but in practice it binds people in debt, often for life. Zayd calls what it truly is a trap that is hidden in plain sight. But these volumes do not stop at criticism. That is where most stop. Zayd goes further. He doesn't just point out what's broken, he provides a path toward repair, blueprint, a solution, one that is not based on theory or utopian ideals, but rooted in over 100 years of tried and tested divine wisdom. He invites us to rediscover Islamic finance not as a niche or exotic model, but as a universal system of fairness, transparency, and shared prosperity. Zayd's work is a powerful blend of spiritual insight, historical analysis, and practical financial wisdom. He draws upon the Quran, the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the economic principles of classical Islamic civilization to craft a vision for what ethical finance truly looks like. And this is not limited to Muslim. What he proposes, justice, honesty, responsibility, is something that resonates across all faiths and communities. He introduces readers to concepts like zakat, the purification of wealth, murabaha, fair, transparent trade, mudaraba, partnership in risk and reward, sukuk, ethical investment through real assets, and waqf, endowments that serve society. These are no abstract ideas, they are real, applicable, and life changing when understood and implemented. Zayd also draws a clear line between true Islamic finance and the many so called Islamic financial products in the market today that merely mimic conventional banking with different labels. He holds nothing back. His concern is with authenticity and his allegiance is to truth, not trends. What makes the invisible debt trap so impactful is its accessibility. Zayd does not write for economists alone. He writes for the everyday reader, the parent, the student, the entrepreneur, the struggling worker. His language is clear, his examples are relatable. His stories, like that of Ali, a middle class man suffocating under rising interest payments, are pulled from real life. Through these stories, readers see themselves, and through the solutions, they begin to see a way out. Each volume is a journey in itself. Volume 01 lays the foundation. It opens your eyes to the reality of modern banking and how even good debt can become a lifelong burden. It explains how the entire economy is built to favor the rich, how inflation quietly robs people of value, and how society is tricked into thinking they are progressing when in fact they are barely surviving. It awakens the reader to the dangers of riba interest, not just spiritually, but socially and economically. Volume 2 takes the next step. It pulls back the curtain even further and examines how deeply rooted and systemic these injustices are. It reveals how modern capitalism is intertwined with spiritual deception, secretive agendas, and a philosophy of greed, but more importantly, it equips the reader with the tools to resist. It shows how Islamic finance offers not just an alternative, but the original God given model for human prosperity and ethical economics. In both volumes, Zaid emphasizes that the real battle is not just financial, it is moral and spiritual. He reminds us that wealth is not just a resource but a responsibility, that earning is not just a right but a test, that success is not measured by numbers in a bank account but by the integrity of your transactions, the purity of your intentions, and the justice of your impact on others. The Invisible Debt Trap is more than just a series of books, it is a movement, a call to every person who has felt the pressure of rising bills, the confusion of modern economics, or the discomfort of compromising faith for financial survival. It is a reminder that you are not crazy for questioning the system, you are awake, and now you are not alone. These volumes are for those ready to stop playing by the rules of a broken game and start building a life and a society based on truth. If you've ever wondered why hard work isn't enough, if you've ever questioned why the world rewards greed and punishes honesty, if you believe that there must be a better way, then this is your moment. Read The Invisible Debt Trap, let it educate you, let it challenge you, let it free you. The time has come to reclaim your financial future, not with fear but with faith, not with shortcuts but with sincerity. Volume 01, The Invisible Debt Trap. What if everything you knew about money was engineered to keep you broke? Volume 01 is a profound awakening. It starts with the story of Ali, a relatable middle class man drowning in debt despite his honesty and hard work. Through Ali's eyes, readers are introduced to the crushing weight of interest, riba, compounding EMIs, inflation, and financial servitude. Key learnings from Volume 01, Nation on Lease. India, like many nations, is trapped in a cycle of perpetual borrowing. With over 171 lakh crore in public debt, even tax revenue is consumed by interest payments. Riba disguised as investment. Zaid uncovers how modern banking dresses up interest in the name of investment returns and profit sharing while keeping the core exploitative mechanisms intact. Halal on paper, haram in practice. He criticizes so-called Islamic financial products that mimic conventional models without embodying their spiritual or ethical foundation. Kakat as an economic weapon. Zakat in Zayd's framework is not just charity, it is a divine economic tool to dismantle hoarding, revive circulation, and cleanse society of injustice. Scams legalized by law, from privatized national resources to budgetary manipulations favoring billionaires, the book exposes how policy often serves the elite while impoverishing the masses. Greenwashing and economic hypocrisy. Environmental campaigns are often hijacked to create new markets for exploitation, while real sustainability, like ethical work and zakat systems, are ignored. Volume 01 is a torch in the dark for students, professionals, and laypeople alike. It helps you not only understand what is wrong, but see what is possible. Volume 02, The Invisible Debt Trap, The Modern Economy and Capitalism Exposed. Are you financing your own destruction? Volume 2 pulls no punches. It moves from system critique to system exposure. uncovering the occult roots of global finance, secret societies, engineered economic collapse, and the spiritual war being waged through wealth. Key learnings from Volume 02, Zakat and Hellfire. The book opens with a wake-up call. Neglecting zakat isn't a minor sin. It's a direct road to divine punishment. Zayd redefines financial responsibility through spiritual urgency. Waqf from Amana to ego. He highlights how this powerful Islamic tool for public welfare has been hijacked for personal gain, especially in property and real estate industries. Every prophet was an economist. Contrary to modern secular thinking, Zayd shows that every prophet challenged unjust marketplaces and introduced divine economic laws. Banks manufacture debt. This chapter is a revelation. Banks don't store your money, they create money through fractional reserve lending. You're not saving, you're feeding their machinery. The economic dajjal, modern success metrics, GDP, corporate expansion, global influence are illusions built on exploitation. True economic success, according to the Sunnah, is justice, balance, and barakah, secret societies, and economic sorcery. Zayd courageously exposes the role of Freemasons, fiat money creation, and occult economic rituals in shaping modern capitalism. It's not conspiracy, it's control. Bitcoin versus Islamic finance. While Bitcoin is praised for resisting central banks, it is not immune to speculation and greed. Islam, however, offers a divine framework with ethics, purpose, and accountability. The final chapter, no more excuses. Once you've seen the truth, ignorance is no longer a defense. Muslims must act not only to protect themselves but to serve humanity with a just alternative. Volume 02 completes the circle. If Volume 01 was diagnosis, Volume 2 is the prescription. What you will gain from these two volumes. Clarity. You'll understand why you work hard but stay broke. Courage. You'll no longer be intimidated by big finance or complex jargon. Conviction. You'll learn that Islamic finance isn't just halal, it's superior. Solutions. Practical frameworks like Murabaha, Mudaraba, Waqf, Sokok, and Zakat implementation in real economies. Empowerment. You'll be inspired to take action for yourself, your family, your business, and the Ummah. These books are not just academic, they are emotional, spiritual, and revolutionary. They are born from struggle, written with sincerity, and intended to spark a global economic awakening, a metaphysical farewell, the testament of ethical wealth. And so we arrive at the precipice of reckoning, where ignorance stands no longer as a cloak, and silence has shed its camouflage. Permit me, if you will, this final soliloquy, not as an author addressing an audience, but as a wayfarer calling out to fellow souls caught in the drift of a delusive economy. For too long, we have orbited a constellation of economic dogmas, terms like growth, credit, interest, and return, blinking like hypnotic stars in a synthetic sky. But beneath this glittering veneer lies the grand architecture of enslavement, mortared with compounding illusions, and riveted with golden chains. I once stood where you now stand, convinced that effort equated to elevation, that mortgages were milestones, that liquidity meant liberation. But then came the rupture, the unveiling, the rude luminosity of truth that shattered the lens I had inherited. What you now hold in your hand, these twin volumes of the invisible death trap, they are not books. They are mirrors forged in fire. They are maps drawn in the ink of ancestors who remembered how wealth once walked humbly, how markets once bowed to morality, how gold once had a soul. This is not the end of a reading, it is the inception of reclamation. Because interest, my friend, is not just a number, it is a neurosis of civilizations. It feasts upon time, corrodes trust, and metastasizes like an unrepentant affliction through economies. Riba does not merely enslave, it mutates the very intention behind wealth, turning provision into poison and earnings into erosion. And yet we were not left without remedy. The Quran did not merely warn, it prescribed. The Prophet, peace be upon him, did not only prohibit, he built. In every verse of Surah Al-Baqarah, in every page of our fiqh, in every ink-stained leaf of economic jurisprudence, we find a scaffolding of sanity, an architecture of ethics, a treasury of Tawheed. These books are my offering to that forgotten treasury, not crafted to impress boardrooms, but to awaken hearts in back streets and bedrooms. Not written to earn awards, but to disturb sleep, the kind that numbs the believer into complacency. Because if you are not yet disturbed by the grotesque normalcy of global finance, then you have not yet touched its core. So now I ask, not with fanfare but with fire in my voice, will you persist in financing your own subjugation? Will you continue to serve sisters that siphon your soul one EMI at a time? Will you let compound interest compound your indifference? Or will you rise? Will you tear the veil, burn the brochure, reject the algorithm, and seek instead a pathway paved in Amana, calibrated by Adab, and illuminated by La ilaha illallah? If even a sliver of your spirit whispers yes, then let these volumes be your companions. Let volume 01 unmask the first illusion and let volume 02 dismantle the second machinery. Let the questions emerge, let the paradigms fracture, let your tongue quiver with new vocabulary. Mudraba, Sokok, Waq, Zakat. Not as technical terms, but as acts of economic worship. Do not treat these texts as ink-bound artifacts. Engage them as living documents. Let their ideas enter your contracts, your transactions, your board meetings, your budget plans. Let them disrupt, disturb, and eventually deliver you. Now, dear reader, dear listener, dear companion on this crooked road, if your soul has been stirred even slightly, then your next action must be more than applause. It must be acquisition. These are not books you borrow. These are books you bequeath. Own your copies today. The ebooks await you on Google Play Books and Amazon Kindle, ready to accompany your thoughts wherever you go. Prefer the sacred tactility of paper? Order the paperback editions from Amazon India or Flipkart and let the ink breathe on your shelf. Visit our website zaydhaji.com and zlhaji.com. Let the reclamation begin with one click and end in transformation, because to simply know is insufficient, to act is imperative, and to ignore now that you have seen is betrayal. I do not sign off with farewell, I sign off with faith until the day we are audited by the Almighty Zayd Iqbal Haji, author of the podcast series Zayd's Rules Ethical Finance for a Global Audience. Visit our website zaydhaji.com and zhaji.com.